Right, so it's been a while since I did my last video, so welcome back to me, Steve. The reason I've been away is I've had a lot of stuff going on, more workings out around selling the house and looking through our budgets and making sure everything's going to work out. But what I wanted to do today was just update. I've also been waiting for some income to come through from my investments. So that's going to be the main focus. So I wanted to talk about the income, show you how much I received, whether that met what I was expecting, because in some cases it didn't, what I'm doing about it, again, looking at our budget going forward. So first of all, if you're here and you don't know what we're doing, we're selling up, giving everything away, getting rid of all of everything basically. I'm cashing in my pension next year, which is about 160 grand. Selling the house, we're hoping to get about 100k for it, and we're going to go and live on a boat. Much cheaper option. We're also going to get a motorhome with the change and use that for holidays, and we won't have to pay for camping fees or anything like that at all. We could just travel around, park on the side of the road. Could even live in it for half of the year, live in the boat for half of the year, either or. We've had agreement from our marina where we're going to be staying. The mooring will be cheap as chips. It will be a leisure mooring, not a residential mooring, so we won't be paying any council tax. We'll be paying 20 quid a month for a company to provide us with a residential address, which is good for banking, insurances, car registration, DVLA, and not council tax. So if you're interested in watching that journey going forward, living on a boat, showing my budget every month, showing you what I've spent and what I've managed to draw down on my pension, without reducing it. The plan is a 7-year plan, basically. After the 7 years of living on a boat, when we're a little bit older, we want to enjoy life now. That's what we're going to do. And then when we're a little bit older, we may rent or something like that. But the plan I've got, we will still have nearly, even if in the worst possible case scenario, we should have nearly 100,000 left in the bank, still generating income. But we can then use that. We'll have, my wife's pension will have kicked in, state pension, on top of her private pension. All of that will be more than enough to pay the rent on a small flat somewhere if we want to, into our later years when we're much, much older. Or we might stay on the boat. It might be so good, we might stay on the boat. So if you're interested in following that kind of journey, then brilliant. If you're not interested, or you're just here to put disparaging comments on there, go elsewhere please. Not interested in engaging with you whatsoever. Just wanted to make that clear. But the majority of people watching, I know, are very keen to just watch how we get on, and some of you have said you're even inspired, which is absolutely fantastic. So I really appreciate that. Appreciate all your wonderful comments and your continued support to the channel. So without further ado, I'm going to go into my investments now. I'm just going to record some stuff on the phone. Here we go. I absolutely hate my phone. I'm going to be buying a new phone. Going to be getting a Samsung, probably an S25 next year. At the moment, I've got a cheap Samsung. It cost me a couple £100 because I threw my other one in the river. That's another story. Didn't throw it in the river. It was an accident. But this phone is just so rubbish, so slow and everything else. But anyway, let's get into my HL SIP. So what I've got in my HL SIP, I have got, as you've probably seen before, I've got almost a split of 70-30. So 30% in equities, earning, 8% or more, much more than 8%. It's been recently actually. And that's in stuff like the S&P 500, mainly American stocks, in indices. Then I've got the 70% is in income generating stuff. I've put it into there to protect my money against big market drops, because all of my money in those bits won't drop if there's a market turmoil or a big drop or anything like that, as everyone's predicting, stock market crash. All that might happen is the returns go down, but my money will be safe. That's the main thing. I need my money to be safe so that when I want to take my 25% cash next year, that's what I'm going to be doing. I need there to be enough money to do that. And if it's 160,000 still next March or April, when I look to take the 25%, I should be able to get about 40 odd thousand from my 25%, which will be great. And because then we're going to be buying lots of things I need that money before we do anything like sell the house and everything else. So the bulk of the money at the moment is in the Royal London short-term money market, and that's supposed to pay about 4.7%. The income I got from it, so I've had a full month now, the income I got was £323.83, and invested in that I've got, thought it was 95, it wasn't, for some reason it didn't do the full 95, it's 94,835. Now that works out, if you work it out yearly, that would work out about 4.1%, and I worked out the fee, the annual fee is 0.55, it's a 0.5% fee, which is actually quite high. I should have checked that, but never mind. Look, the money's safe. The money's actually gained. It's not going down, which is the great thing about it. It's actually gained. What we got? 30 quid. It's designed to literally just sort of hover around the amount that you invested. It's not going to go up or down. It's not going to drop with the markets. With all all these Trump tariff announcements and everything else. Then I've got City of London Investment Trust, which I've only got 10 grand in there, and that pays quarterly. So I did have some income from that back in August, and that was £110, and that's supposed to be quarterly, so £400 a year. So it's not too bad. It's similar to the Royal London investment, but it's also gained. So on my 10 grand, it's gone up by 270 quid, so 2.71% since I invested in it in July, I think, June or July. Then I've also got an Aegon high yield bond, which has dropped a little bit in value. So I spent 3,000 on that. So I've got, let's have a little look, 2,988 I invested in that, and that's dropped a little bit in value. It's down to £12, minus £12.57. However, the income on that works out about just over 8%. Which is pretty good. And the fees on there, average annual charge 1.44%. But I'm not seeing that. So the return I've got is a monthly return it gives you is pretty good. Well, actually, the performance over the last year has been 10.14. So that's why I've got 8% or just over 8%. So that could be quite good. I'm also keeping my eye on, the underlying yield. There you go, 7.42% monthly, and that's interest. But I've definitely got more than that. I've got, let me just show you. So I've got invested 2,900, hang on. I paid, where has it gone? I paid in £2,988, 18p, and you can work this out for yourself. I haven't got the percentages to hand, but the income I got this month, I've got 2 lots because I hadn't held it in for the full month previously. So it'll probably be a little bit more next month, but it was £8.69 and £11.82. So it's about 20 quid on £2,988. So work that out. But it's about 8% over the year. So it's not bad. And so I'll keep my eye on that. What I've done now is I've moved some money from the Royal London short-term market into that bond. Because it's reasonably safe. It's a little bit higher risk, but the other equities are offsetting. So I'm hoping that will kind of protect itself, but give me a better income. The income I'm not reinvesting at the moment. I'm just leaving it there because I'm going to be taking my 25%. And boy, these months are going really, really quick. I've already had HL contact me about what I want to do, my options for when I take my pension at 55, and they said they'll contact me a couple of months before, which will be sometime probably late January. So that's the income I've got at the moment. I'm still expecting another one from the City investment, which will be probably another £110, I'm assuming. And I've also got my eye on Legal and General shares as well. They do go up and down, but I think what I'll do is after I can take my money and I've got everything invested properly for income wise, I'm going to be putting some money into those shares. I don't normally like to buy one particular share, but they're paying nearly 9% dividends. It is yearly though, so I'm going to need to make sure that I've got something there so that I've got enough money coming in each month. Anyway, that's the investments. Obviously, I've based everything on 160,000. It's now 165, 166 the other day, so it's creeping upwards. My wife's also got some in her SIP. She's been putting some money away in there, getting the 20% tax relief on it, or 25%, whichever way you look at it. So that's really good. So we're going to have hopefully 170,000 or more, and so that will almost pay for 1 year worth of income. So again, if you haven't watched my previous videos, the reason we're selling the house is currently costing us nearly £1,100 a month in mortgage, council tax, gas and electricity, water, and then on top of that you've got maintenance and everything else. We haven't spent a lot on maintenance over the 20 years that we've lived there, to be honest. And before you keyboard warriors go, oh, why haven't you maintained your house? Just go away, go and watch another channel somewhere else if you don't like it. So that's the deal. So we're getting rid of the house, and then we're going to be living on a boat at a fraction of what we're paying out for at the moment. People saying, boats cost a hell of a lot of money and everything else. Yeah, possibly, but we could, I've even factored in, if we had to buy another 2 boats within that 7 years, I'd still have enough money left to then get us through till my wife receives her state pension, and then we'll be happy as Larry. Our finances will be even better off. So much cheaper than owning a house, and an enjoyable adventure. We're really looking forward to it. Both are. We still get to do, all the things locally that we were going to do because we're staying very local. We love being near water, love being near wildlife and, all the water fowl and everything else. Literally only a few miles from a massive seal colony as well, which is, fantastic. I'll be able to go down the river out into the estuary and go fishing, because I enjoy fishing now and again, especially in the summer, mackerel fishing. So our budget at the moment is working out at about £1,300 a month. I've overestimated on loads and loads of stuff with that. I've overestimated on the shopping, I've overestimated on all insurances, other payouts, money aside for boat maintenance, all of that sort of stuff, diesel and everything else. And so we've got about £1,300 a month. That'll be our outgoings. The income generated from my wife's current personal pension, that's £400 a month. And then the income generated from my investments and my wife's investments will amount to a total of about £1,100 to £1,200 a month. So we'll be maybe £100 short a month. Maybe we can either cut back. We won't know really till we're doing it. We never eat out. We don't go out drinking. We're not drinkers. As I said, I gave up alcohol 8 years now. So we're not party goers or anything like that at all. I absolutely abhor pubs. I have no interest in going in a pub. We might get the occasional fish and chips, which is actually extortionate at the moment anyway. So I'd rather catch my own and make my own, which we can all do on the boat because we'll be cooking on gas. So yeah, we can either cut back to make that £100 back, or I can just draw it from my pension. And actually, I've based everything on 150,000 or 160,000, not 170,000, which we've pretty much got now. So as long as that stays the same, then that extra 10,000 will help pay for the first year. In fact, that 10,000 will pay, that'll make up that £100 shortfall for 100 months, which is how many is that divided by 8 years. So there you go, it's done. It's done. We won't even be drawing down on our pension at all. So, again, and I do get a lot of comments, people saying you can't afford this. All I say to you is go elsewhere. Also learn how to use a calculator. And don't come back, not interested. When I also get people going, I haven't seen any negative comments. That's because I delete them all, because I'm not interested in that occupying my headspace, Anyway, so we're really looking forward to it. As far as boats are concerned, we have been looking at some boats. I will do a video on that, but we're not going to go viewing some boats until kind of much nearer the time, just because it's going to be unfair. I'd be really cheesed off if there was a load of people viewing my boat when I was selling mine, who had no intention of buying it because they didn't have the money. And we don't have the money to do it yet. We don't have the money to put even a deposit down or anything like that. So we're not going to do that. The kind of boat that we are looking at, though, if you are, for any of those boating enthusiasts, we're looking at a Seamaster 30, which is a 30-foot, just under 10 metres, about 9.5, not just over 9 metres actually. We can park a 10-metre boat where we're at, possibly just over. So we're looking at about 33-foot max. So we've been looking at the Seamaster, we've been looking at the Broom 30 and the Broom 33. We really like the idea of an aft cabin. So with my property at the moment, where we're living at the moment, we've got 3 bedrooms, 2 kind of living rooms and a conservatory. So 3 bedrooms, 2 living rooms, conservatory, a bathroom and a kitchen, right? So that's 8 rooms. Now we use, my daughter is living with us at the moment, so I don't use that room. We don't use the spare bedroom. We only use the 1 bedroom. So we use 1 bedroom, we use the bathroom, we use the kitchen, we use both living rooms, and we don't use a conservatory. As well, I've just cleared out the conservatory actually to do my weight training, but we don't use a conservatory. So we use about 5 rooms in the house regularly. Now on the Seamaster 30, you've got the top area which has got sofa bed on it and stuff with the helm. Then you've got, so that's 1 room. Then you've got the galley and the dining area, that's 2 rooms. Then you've got the bow berth at the front, that's 3. You've got a bathroom with a shower, that's 4. And then you've got the aft cabin, which has a separate door, and that's 5. So we've got 5 rooms again. Yes, it's a lot smaller, but we've got 5 separate areas, and that's the layout we really, really want, because there's 5 separate areas in the boat. So it'd be much better than living full time in a motorhome or a caravan, because we can separate ourselves off. We've got different rooms to go to and stuff like that, to give each other our space when we want it. So it's all good. More updates to come. If there's anything particular you wanted me to cover, let me know. In the meantime, I'll see you very soon on the next video.